Okay, so it's asking us to find the equation of a line passing through -3, 3, and 1, -5. Anytime you're being asked to write the equation of a line, what I'm looking for is the form y equals mx plus b. So I want you to write it in this form where I can see what the slope is and I can see what the y-intercept is, so where it crosses the y-axis. As discussed on the slides, there's also standard form, but we're not going to focus on that this year just because of the situation, but normally in grade 9, standard form would have emphasis as well, but in this case we'll just focus on slope y-intercept form. And that's why it's called slope y-intercept form, because we can see the slope and the y-intercept. So in the other examples, I had the slope. Here I don't. So my first step is going to be to find the slope, because all you need is the slope and the y-intercept to have the equation. So step 1 will be to find the slope. Okay, so we're finding m, which is our slope. I'm going to use the formula and these two equations. So these two coordinates. So my coordinates are -3, 3 and 1, -5, and I'm going to label them x1, y1, x2, y2. And the formula is that slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to substitute my values into the equation. So I know that y2 is -5. Actually, I'm going to write it like this. y1 is 3. x2 is 1. And x1 is -3. So now I'm going to simplify the numerator and the denominator separately. -5 minus 3. So remember, we can keep, change. So -5 plus -3, both negative, so -8 over keep, change. 1 plus 3 is 4. Now I can simplify. -8 divided by 4 is -2. So I have my slope. That's one part of the equation. I have my slope. Step 2 is to find the y-intercept. And I'm going to find the y-intercept using the same strategy that I did in the other types of questions that I did in the previous video. So I'm going to use my slope, and I'm going to pick either of the coordinates. It doesn't matter which one you pick. I'll just pick this one here. You're going to get the same answer whichever one you pick. So this is my slope, and this is my coordinate. I'm going to label it x and y. And this is what I'm going to substitute into the equation y equals mx plus b. Instead of y, I'm going to write 3. Instead of m, I'm going to write -2. And instead of x, I'm going to write -3. Now I'm going to simplify. -2 times -3 is 6. I'm going to solve for b, bring 6 over to the other side. On the other side, it's -6, because it's opposite. 3 minus 6 is -3. So now that I have my slope and my y-intercept, step 3 is to substitute the slope and the y-intercept in the equation y equals mx plus b. So that's my equation, and instead of m, I'm going to write -2. And instead of b, I'm going to write -3. Notice I didn't write plus -3, I just wrote -3. So I'm going to follow the same steps. This time it's passing through -5, 1 and 10, 7. So I'm going to repeat the same steps. I still want it in the form y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to do step 1. I'm going to find the slope by labeling the coordinates first as x1, y1, x2, y2. And I'm going to put that into the slope formula. I still recommend you writing out the formula each time just to help it stick. Now I'm going to substitute my known values. So y2 was 7, y1 is 1, x2 is 10, and x1 is -5. Simplify the top and bottom separately. 7 minus 1 is 6. 10, keep, change, change. 10 plus 5 is 15. When you have a final answer that's a fraction, always ask yourself, is there a way that I can simplify this? So is there a number that goes into 6 and also goes into 15? That number is 3, which means I can divide the top and bottom by 3 to simplify the fraction. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So that means my slope is 2 over 5. Always keep it in simplest form, and always keep it as an improper fraction, not as a mixed number. So this was step 1. Now I'm going to do step 2. I'm going to find the y-intercept. So I know that my slope is 2 over 5, and I'm going to pick one of the points. It really doesn't matter. I'll pick the first one, or this time I'll pick the second one actually. Or the first one. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to call this x, and I'm going to call this y. I'm going to put them into the equation y equals mx plus b, because I know y, m, and x, I just don't know b, so I'm going to use them. So y was 1, m is 2 over 5, and x is -5. Okay, so in the previous video, what I did at this point was I multiplied the numerators. The denominator, this 5 here is 1. So I multiplied the numerators. So 2 times -5 is -10. Denominator is 5, so -10 divided by 5 is -2. I'm just going to show you another strategy here. Because this is in the numerator and this is in the denominator, because this is happening with the top part of the fraction and this is the bottom, what you can do is you can directly simplify these two numbers. I know that 5 and 5 cancel out because 5 divided by 5 is 1. So what I can do is I can cross them off like this, and I can say 1. I don't know if that's dark enough. So 2 times -1 is -2. Now I'm going to solve for b. This is -2, so I have to add 2 to both sides. 1 plus 2 is 3, and -2 plus 2 is 0. So my b is equal to 3. Step 3, I'm going to put it all together. So y equals mx plus b. So instead of m, I'm going to write 2 over 5. And instead of b, I'm going to write 3. Please don't forget the x that goes beside the slope. That's a common error.